Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on MOTU BPM mixing drum series. Backed by popular demand, I had numerous people ask, how do you mix drums within MOTU BPM? Well, in this series, it's either going to be a two-part or three-part series. I'm going to give you some little mixing recipes on the kick drum, EQ and compression, and also on the snare drum. If I do decide to do a third-part series, I might throw out like the hi-hats and whatever. Who knows? But anyway, I'm going to just briefly show you so it gives you an idea on where to start and where to begin. So just going to pick the drum kit out of the mix here. Doesn't make a difference. And as you click on it, you can kind of already hear some type of reverb or exciter setting. So I just like to go through, hit the effects, go through each one, the banks, and you see a iReverb here, delete it. This is all your factory sounds here. This is what's, giving everything a big sound and whatnot. So it should be pretty much dry. Might have to go through every single one. I don't think so, though. I think it's pretty much good to go. So anyway, you can get it as dry as possible. I pretty much stripped it all. So these are the actual sampled sounds that actually has either reverb or some type of effect in it as an original sample. But there's nothing added. It's all dry. We'll adjust the tempo. I don't know. We'll go 85. It's nothing big. Let's see if we can't do. Let's do like a lighter kick or something. We can go with the deep sound, but we'll try something else. Alright, we'll go with that one. It's a little tubby sounding, but it's alright. Okay, just double checking. Anyway, so we'll create our drum pattern here real quick. So we'll just use this in the time being, and then we'll just mute out the rest. Actually, just solo it. Okay, so once we have this done, there's a couple things, kind of three elements I want to talk to you guys about the kick drum. There's three different kinds. There's the big boom, the smack, and the click. Those are the three elements that make up the kick. Also, people call it like the beater too, the click part. But it's entirely up to you. Real briefly, when you listen to this kick, you can kind of hear all three. You don't really hear the smack too much because, like I said, it's a tubby type of kick. So we're gonna start real quick. Some drum EQs on the kick. So easy, just go to the effects, or I'm sorry, you can go to the mix and then hit effects through there. I tend to like to do that, but that's entirely up to you. You can go down to EQ. There's a 2, 3, 8 band EQ. That's once again entirely up to you. I like to do all on flat because I'll create my own. So, real briefly, you could set different bands to get a good solid kick, a full kick drum sound with plenty of click also in there. It's pretty much self-explanatory. You can see these. It's really nice how it's broken down. High shelf, sorry, and then your peaks and stuff. So let me show you how it's done real quick. Okay, with this 8-band EQ, I'm going to disregard the high pass frequency, the low shelf frequency, and whatnot. We're just going to stay focused on the peak frequency, peak 1 frequency, band 1 frequency, peak band 1 gain 2, 3, and 4. Disregard all these high shelves. Those are pretty usable. I use those a lot, the high shelf and low shelf frequencies on different things. I can get into that later. As of now, we're just going to stay focused on the bandwidth, the 4 bands. So, real quick, the kick drum, obviously, the big 3 EQ, like I said, there's a modern, which is more boom. Usually you want to add 6 decibels at 50 hertz. Don't worry, I'll throw, at the very end of this, I'll throw EQ charts up on the screen here. For more boom, a solid classic, is 6 decibels at, plus 6 decibels at 100 hertz. Then you have the smack, which is the attack part of the kick. I usually add about 7 dB, about 3.5 kilohertz. And then for the click, the beater, I kind of go large on that. Then, man, at 6 kilohertz, I hit it up about 6 to 8 decibels. But like I said, let's start off to get a solid full drum sound with plenty of kick. Or click, I'm sorry. So at the first band, you kind of want to hit that frequency about 55. And then the gain, I like to go large. A lot of people don't. I like to go large. You want to do that about 6 decibels. Then, you can still play it and listen to it as you're making the changes. For band number 2 frequency, I like to kind of hit the mid-range a little bit at 275. And you can get exact if you want to double click and type it in, but I'm just going to briefly show you guys. And then I like to pull it down, like to pull it out. And let me turn this up to make sure you guys can hear all this here. So then we go to the next frequency range. It's about 3.7. Like I said, you kind of want that smack, that attack. So we're going to go up a little bit higher on that one. And then let's go up, I don't know, let's go up to about 7. You can hear it. Then we go to the 4th frequency, and usually, like I said, I like to jump this one up. Let's go to about 8 on that. And then here it is. We'll go to about 6. kind of like that. I like that feel. That's one way where you can get a solid full kick drum sound. You can hear it. Now, if you want more of a traditional kick drum, we're going to change this a little bit here. Okay, a traditional is pretty simple. We're just going to change a couple of the bands around. So for the first one, instead of it's +6, we lead the game, but we're going to bump that up to at 100. That's just more what you typically hear in pop music and whatnot. And then we're going to hit it high here, about 800. And you can hear the change. And then on band 3, usually about the 1.5 mark on the kilohertz. A lot of people use this method. This one's a good one here. Bring it down a little bit. You might like that kick sounding a little bit better. And then on the 4th band, personally, I would probably leave it the same, but if you want to play around just a little bit here. And so, yeah, like I said, the high shelves, you can leave those alone because you're not boosting anything. So I can turn this up, I can turn it down, whatever, don't make a difference. But yeah. So that's your traditional kick drum sound. It kind of rounds out the music a little bit. Real quick, let's just show it in the mix here. You can just kind of feel it's getting bigger. So a lot for those big drum sounds, you can manipulate it too. I tend to overlay like different styles of the kick drum. Sometimes I'll do a traditional, but then I want that solid oomph. So I'll do a solid EQ on the bottom low end of it. Like I said, we can get into more on that later if people really want to get into that. And then the last one, some people like that loud, ringy, tight bottom end, with less attack. But I mean, I say wobble, but I mean, ringing is the proper term. So once again, you keep the first frequency, first band the same. Second one, obviously, you go back to my method when you use for the get that solid full kick. You kind of bring it back down just a tad, about 250. Once again, like I said, I'll have everything up where you guys can see it on the screen here. But you can listen to the change really quick. It's a subtle change, but really on that bottom end, if you guys have those speakers, you can really feel it on that bottom end. It's a ringing, I call it wobble, but it's a ringing tone. You can really hear it though. So those are the 3 traditional drum sounds. Next, we're going to get into some kick drum compression. Once again, I like to start a mix with the drums and then slowly blend in every type of instrument. Panning also does have an effect. Usually, if you have a big like like an 808 that just rumbles, I tend to pan that off to one side then the other, just a little bit though, just so it opens up the middle just a little bit for the vocals to fit in nicely and snug. But that's up to you, and that's another whole different series. If you guys want to see that, just let me know. But once again, we're going to get into the the drum compression next. Okay, when dealing with kick drum compression, there's pretty much only two types. It's either a laid back, chill, subtle kick drum compression, or a more in your face, just off the wall compression. Um, so we'll just start off with the subtle kick drum compression, laid back first. Still keep your same settings. You can choose, like I said before, either of the three. The settings here is for traditional. All you do is add effects again, and you go down. Now there's different types of dynamics. There's a compressor here. You can look good for drums, power mix, etc. There's 3 brand processors, and then also you can even use. There's a miscellaneous where they got some type of compression, but yet bit crusher. So pretty much it's entirely up to you on what you want to use. For me, I'm just going to go with the basic compressor, go with the default, and compressor / expander. You can leave that there. It's pretty much simple. Gate, attack. It's what you would see on a vocal processor hardware component. So start with the ratio. Usually for a subtle, anywhere from 2 to 4 to 1, but 2 to 1, a lot of people like that in mastering. Personally, 1.5 is my era or range. But anyway, I would say let's just go average 3 to 4. You can go to 2 to 4, but let's just go 3 to 4. Okay, so we did 3 to 1 there. Let's see, attack and release. You guys obviously understand that, so we can go smaller on the attack, about 4, 6, 4 to 6. Release 100 to 200. You might want to adjust it. Listen for pumping effects. This is all the gate. Don't really need that. Usually I like to add a gate if I'm layering my kick some, or if I want to trigger it, like I'll slap it on, the kick and bass, gate trick. So that's kind of easy. And then for the threshold, you kind of want anywhere from 3 to 6 on the gain reduction. Since you're going to have to go by ear. You can hear it there, and that's it. So I usually say anywhere, if you're going to base it off MOTU, to get you that -3 is honestly anywhere from 5 to 10. So kind of adjust to that. You'll get that -2 to -3 gain reduction. Like I said, 3 to 6, so you can probably go up to 15. But you can make it tighter. We'll just stick it right there. And then you can try it in the mix. You can hear it's kind of a little tighter. And to be honest with you, it's the wrong type of kick. It can work, but it's the wrong type with this drum sound, because I would round off the kick some. That would be me. So that snare can shine just a little bit more through. So as we got that one down, let's try the other setting real quick, the in your face, and then after that we'll jump onto the snare part real quick. Once again, we go back to the ratio, And usually with this, you want like a 6-to-1. I would say 5-to-8. But I usually like 6. Attack, you kind of want to leave the same. You can go less, anywhere that 2-to-6, range. The release, release, same thing. I'll leave it the same on this one. And then obviously the threshold, you want a deeper one. You want about negative, I would say 8 to like 14 on hardware gain reduction or a meter, but you can adjust it by ear. I like that. You can hear it's more prominent. So you can even hear it. It's almost overpowering the snare. I mean, it's right up there. But like I said, a little bit of tweaking. This is just simply to get you where you're started at. I'm not talking about adding waves or any type of other extraordinary plugins, Solid State Logic, Oxford series. Not talking about none of those, okay? I'm just strictly talking about MOTU BPM. Their effects and stuff is pretty decent. It's not that bad, honestly. It's pretty decent. Now, you can add your own reverb, a touch of reverb, touch of chorus, add a little delay to thicken up the bottom. You can add your own tricks, a little phaser and whatnot. It's up to you. But this is the basics on how to mix your drums literally one by one and chop it up from there. Toms and whatnot, there's different frequency ranges. It's obviously the charts that I have and stuff like this, and it will be too much. I mean, it'd be pages and pages if you want me to name off every single instrument and the roundabout range. But this is a good start. So next we will start. We'll just leave this snare, or I'm sorry, the kick here, and we'll focus on the snare in this next series.